Boom, surprise. You ever heard of a cold open? This is a cold open. It's your boy Alex Palmer. Welcome back to Staring at the Sun. Hopefully, this time, they won't drive past my window on a freaking lawnmower and absolutely butcher my intro on me before I get the chance to do it. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm about the business, to be honest. Or I tried to be, but I can't do intros. Now, I usually try to keep it light, and that's going to stay the case here, I promise. However, today's a little bit less theory and more practical example stuff, a little less joking around, a little more business. We're going to go over kind of what's actually working for my team and I right now to build real business, real relationships, real content. So if you want to cut through the BS to the good stuff without spending a fortune, you should probably stick around. This one's just for you. Now, today we're going to cover the following topics. First thing we'll talk about is marketing content, recording and editing tips, stuff that works for me. Afterwards, we'll talk about what it means to build friends, not services, in order to make money. Yes, I'm serious. And then finally, we'll talk about social media tactics for brand enrichment. Now, I want to take a quick sec, and I want to make it super clear for everybody who's not engaged already. This show, and my content in general, it's not crazy polished. I don't know if this is a surprise. Now, however, I am giving you the real no BS version that I actually give to my partners, that I actually give to my clients. Right? It's raw, it's real. So, this is what you get. It's how I actually talk to people. And I promise, if you ever had the pleasure of working with me, or rather, if I had the pleasure of working with you, you'll probably find the same exact guy, right? I'm kind of a regular Joe. I mess stuff up. I trip over my own tongue, right? Sometimes I say the F word, I'm a normal guy. I've said it before. I don't do scripts. I suck at live. Because deep down, I'm not an actor as much as I wish that I could be as handsome and talented as Tom Cruise. I am not Tom Cruise, but I am a leader. I believe I am a builder, a worker. I also believe that real gangsters don't rehearse, they spit from the soul. So, that's what you're gonna get, but it's probably why you're here, isn't it? So, right now my biggest self-criticism, it's that I think my content has some pretty decent info genuinely. However, I have to admit, the overall quality, especially between the editing and the audio, it's kind of where I fall short, and that's what's kind of holding me back from making really good stuff right now. Naturally, though, this is an obstacle I am prioritizing the overcoming of. With those things in mind, let's take a touch on what you need to get your content flowing properly. Now, one of the biggest reasons I think that people struggle to produce content is because they're not optimizing their process. For me and guys like me, which is B2B businesses, but I think it's almost universally applicable, I'd say long form videos, stuff like this stream here, that's your biggest entryways to other content. Now, what I want to point out here is, if you record what you're already doing, you will frequently kill two birds with one stone. Again, this concept is universally applicable. However, my best examples are going to be based on self, just so I'm being super duper clear as a forefront here. Now, in my case, making a 10-minute video or hosting the weekly podcast means that I can actually get days worth of content at once. I'd also say one can never have too much content because of the constant need to be posting. It's twice a day on every single valuable SM you have every single day. Maybe with the slight exception of like weekends, Sundays specifically. But honestly, yeah, twice a day, every day. So, again, record your day-to-day stuff. You know how you once saw people recording their food and stuff? Yeah, I'm not kidding, like that. Like, seriously, right? Of course, yeah, it's preferable to keep things based on what we do and the services we're providing. After all, it's not just about getting seen, it's about conversion. But in most cases, despite all this, though, I think awareness means eyes, and eyes eventually leads to business. I hope I'm making sense. I'll say it again for you, real slow. Post twice a day, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. We want to mix it up, so choices are always good. The only other outlier here is kind of YouTube itself, where in which my only additive advice is long form once a week or month, depending on who you are. And otherwise, I would say just hammer shorts daily. I'm talking, dude, if you got, 3 or 4, despite the fact that I said twice a day, let them rip! I've seen it from experience, guys. Shorts circulate. Hammer them. As long as it's good, unique content, the algo won't dislike this in the slightest. I promise you, I'm talking from experience. Now, as far as the rest of it kind of goes, again, make sure we're not throwing the same punch twice. Still image plus wall of text, clips with other SM links, right? Reels, shorts, there's all kinds of stuff. For even the slightly creative, it should be pretty easy to not throw the same punch twice as far as marketing goes, as long as we allow ourselves enough options. So stay unpredictable, pile that content up in a corner, you'll do well for yourself. For me, I've been working with my team. They're doing all these little passion projects, which I love that. Right now, I'm a big fan of the whole basically live your dream as a business mentality that is driving the world in the last, let's call it, couple of years. As a fan of the ideology that the big stuff drives the little stuff, I have, of course, preached this to my team. And I have definitely heard and seen positives in return. Just to give you guys a quick example, one of my team members, Tammy, she does custom crochet and pattern printing. And she noted that it would likely be easier to get 4, 5, 6 TikToks out of just focusing on the full around 10-minute long tutorial videos. And of course, after the theory, she put it into practice, and I heard the same thing. Now, I want to point out some details here too. Her quality was already high. And I want to remind you when I say that, Tammy does her work on an iPhone. Just think about that a little bit. She has high quality, she's recording on an iPhone. Makes some of the million sub channels look bad, dude. But the issue was the volume, right? I can't get enough content on a daily basis because I'm trying to record twice a day this bite-sized content, and it's just not working out, right? So my advice is maximize your quality, maximize volume. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Maximize your volume, then maximize quality. However you can sensibly. Now, I'd call this like set it and forget it basically, right? Again, if we're making hour-long videos and we need up to 3 minutes at a time, I think you can do math, right? The final key takeaway here is once you take on the role of media manager for your company, that's what you are. It's a full-time job. You need to be producing content, posting content twice a day. You want to be consistently interacting with people, growing the name. It is a full-time job. This is what you do now. It's easy to pick up, hard to master, and it takes a little bit more than some people think. Now, once you figured out what you're going to make, and you've started getting into the process, the next question is, how do I actually make it without it looking like trash or taking me 3 to 5 business days? Good question. Let's talk about that. But first, I need a sip of coffee. Pardon me. So, what I'll say to open things up here is, good enough is always better than perfect. And it definitely beats doing nothing every single time. Now, I want to put it in perspective a bit. Yes, I am fully aware. I am not king of the quality ring, but I have heard positive things, which is funny to be standing in my self-critical position. I'm running some basic cheap crap, to be honest with you guys. It gets the job done well enough like any other toolkit. I got this is a Fifine standing mic. This is around $50. My camera, it's a Logitech HD60S. Everybody and their grandma has one of these. It's about the same, right around $40-50. My green screen, I literally ripped this off of some old curtains. It is a family hand-me-down. This was technically free. And the rest of it, editing. All the software and education, for the most part, free. Right this second, I still use Filmora for my actual like long form and short editing. That costs around $50, but honestly, the editor doesn't really matter that much. It's mostly based on the skill of the user. For example, I've heard great things about DaVinci. I've had a walkthrough or two with that. All the tool suites mostly do the same thing. It's about what you prefer. Why am I mentioning this? The reason I'm mentioning this is because it doesn't freaking matter what your setup is. You can make good stuff. You can. Probably better than me, actually. Uh, Listen, whip your phone out, get out your little ring light or whatever it is that you do, and just freaking record it, man. Trust me. Whatever your thing is, take out your phone and show the world why you're the champ at what you do. If the audio's a little crappy, people are going to get the message, dude. Maybe not everyone, but you can improve that over time. You know, for me personally, I'm here for the one guy that gets it, not the 10 guys that don't. I also want you to keep in mind that your first couple of batches of content are not at all going to go over well. It's not going to go viral. So what I'm trying to point out is there's time and room for you to grow and improve. Don't stress the petty things. Get in there. Go get them every single day until you pop off. And I promise, one of the biggest things is consistency. If you stay at it, you will pop off. Again, like, you can make the absolute best video in the world, in history, but if you haven't been doing it consistently, it's not going to perform for you. Start with the consistency, work up to the quality. The quality will increase with time and experience. Furthermore, I promise you no one is going to laugh at you for making a mid-level video, because it takes balls to get up and get out there that not everyone has in the first place. And if they did say something about it, well, then what I'll say is they don't have the balls to do it. Why are you listening? All right, coming back to the long fueling the short, I want to take an extra step to deepen why that matters. Now, when I do this, for example, I got, let's say, an hour to 2 hour podcast, right? So within that hour or two, I can clip out, reasonably speaking, something like, I don't know, upwards of 12 or so 3-minute tops clips, right? There's a little bit of depends in there, but let's just call some numbers out real quick. If we were to repurpose those pieces of content for cross-posting, we are talking about multiple days worth of content. So that thing where I mentioned Tammy before, right? Trying to, you know, how we were having trouble taking the bite-sized pieces out of the content. If we do it this way, we'll obviously have less trouble with that. Focus around the big stuff, and the little stuff falls into place. Long-form content is king. I'm sure you've heard it before. This is why. So, all right. So now we got the content, we know how to record it, we know how to edit it, we're figuring it all out. But here's the thing that nobody talks about, guys. The real business, the real money, it ain't coming from none of that crap. It's coming from something way more old school. Let me tell you a little bit about what's actually cooking for me right now. But before I do, I gotta take a sec. You guys have seen the cat videos? I gotta talk about Iris, the office cat that's better at my job than me. One of the things I like to do to show what we're all about is post Iris, who is our family cat and my personal secretary, when she needs the good, so she won't be so bad. Me, I make sure to get it at the best rates over on Amazon. Catnip, cat food, cat toys, they got what I need at the right price every time, man. So, if you love your fluffy assistant like I do, make sure to peep the description for my affiliate link. Back to the program, huh? So, what the heck were we talking about? Right. We were talking about what's actually working. Well, my biggest, let's say, gold mine right now is actually in the guys that I've touched along the way. That's kind of a weird way to put it. It started with something I heard from Gary Vee, actually, and just for those unfamiliar, he operates within a similar space to myself to make it simple and concise. And Gary said, call, text, write, or email every client that you ever had. So I did. Therefore, I guess I should take the time, actually. Thanks, Gary. You were right, dude. Started with a guy named Ollie. He is how can I begin to tell how awesome Ollie is, man? He's truly a good and successful man, in my opinion, from South Florida. I basically just did exactly what Gary said. I just took the time, called the guy up out of the blue, and he picked up like we were old buddies. And so I took my hat into my hand, I laid it out in front of him, and now this was kind of the first stepping stone in building momentum. I told him that I needed some work. I told him that I got skills to trade, but the truth is, I need an opportunity. And this guy, he said, well, shit, dude, I'll send you some money right now. Huh? Now, I didn't get it at the time. I didn't get what he was showing me. But I think I get it. He was paying me for my value, not just some service. Because I was basically coming to him hat in hand and saying, listen, my life for you to just help me. He knew what I was willing to do. He knew that I valued him as a friend and as a client. And he helped me out. You know, by understanding, this guy gave me his time, right? If time is money, then he gave me his time. And time is an irreplaceable in-value thing. He believed in me that I would get here right now, that I would be saying this. I still owe you, Ollie. Thank you, brother. I freaking love you, man. And I'm still excited to help. Not only is there opportunities with that guy himself, but just to further down that rabbit hole, he has friends, he has associates, right? By extension, this is further promotion of my own business's opportunity by just being friendly with a good guy. I mean, how could you ask for more? You know, just as an example, during that initial conversation, he mentioned, oh, okay, well, I got a guy that might need some professional editing skills, which is something my team can easily hook him up with. You know, I wouldn't have that if I didn't basically just reach out and bare my soul to the guy. So, like, this is the value point here. Can you guys imagine what else this might become for my blossoming business? I'll also throw in a second story here, as if that one wasn't enough. I took the same exact challenge with several more people. But the guy I want to talk about, his name's Derek. He and I have worked together for years, basically. To make it super simple and blunt, he helped me market some of my previous services. Some of those I'm actually doing now under a new name. And while I'm starting to see traction lately, the truth is, as a developing standalone business of my own, I'm still kind of working my way off of the ground. Derek is a promotional pro who has himself just returned from taking a step back to focus on self and family. And again, when I brought my story to him, he basically said, right place, right time. Now at this point, we're working on a collaboration, basically, to bring out some of the hottest, craziest B2B service that anybody's ever freaking seen, dude, I promise. And whereas before my issue was presence and lead flow, I actually have a little bit of breathing room now that I have a friend who is helping me out. I can kind of focus on what I'm actually good at, which is making the delivery and keeping clients happy. And that's all on the back of one guy, right? Well, I guess it's two guys. But could you imagine if I had two more of those? I'd be swimming. With the power of word of mouth and past experience alone, I find that we're quickly moving past another hurdle that a lot of people get stuck on. The reason I'm telling you this is because just hammering the algo, even on your best day, has not yielded the results that I've gotten from just having a conversation with a dude. Again, I'm going to take the time. Derek, Ollie, I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful. I do it for you, I do it for people like you, and I couldn't do it without you. Now, listen. I'm not trying to say social media is worthless, okay? It absolutely matters. But how you use it is everything. I want to break down exactly what we're doing tactically that's actually working. So, I said it once or twice, but I'm going to say it again real quick. Twice a day, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Mix it up, don't do the same thing twice. If I want to take a minute and break down the platforms for how they might best serve you, well then I'll ask you to consider the following. YouTube, for starters, is a place where long form is the king of all. Shorts themselves drive discovery for channels where, again, the long form kind of helps take over. TikTok is for your stuff like the raw, the real wins, right? It's usually got high energy, fast hooks. It's punchy, quick. LinkedIn is more of a professional voice where people are looking for direct value and are otherwise driven by the conversation or relationship. Facebook is somewhat similar in a regard that it's kind of all about community and reach, especially for local or small business audiences. So again, it's a lot of that kind of conversational, social aspect going on. And X, I would say, is also a very similar case where it's a lot more thought leadership to get other people to engage. But again, kind of the same thing. Jump into those conversations, provide insight, provide answers. This is one of the ways that we find through tactical engagement that we can increase our reach, basically. Here's a couple extra tips and food for thought for you. You want to be commenting and interacting with value to get value. That is to say, like I mentioned a minute ago, ask questions, give answers, participate in communities. Doesn't have to even just be your own, participate in other communities. And I hope I don't have to say this, but don't make everything a sale. You know, there's 100 guys who are standing on the same corner as you who are going, buy my shit, no, buy my stuff, no, buy mine, buy mine. That's not going to work, okay? Not everything has to be a sale. Eyes in this scenario is going to eventually lead to sales, is what I want to point you at. Especially in formats like X, commenting on your own post does have a certain level of value. The interaction and engagement can work on the algorithm level, but reasonably speaking, I actually just think of it more on the interpersonal level. That is to say, if they see interaction already, people, usually they're more likely to interact as a result of not being first up. I don't have a very direct example for this. However, the science is there if you guys have ever heard the term social proof. If you haven't heard the term social proof, then I'll say Google is your best buddy. As I kind of mentioned in the first tip, follow and support others to gain following support, right? This, you know, how do I put it? Wouldn't you be psyched to back somebody up if they were already following you and backing you up, right? Interacting on your content? Well, I'll bet they would be too. My humble advice is go give it a shot, see what happens. It might not pay you out right away, but over time, I've found that this is an easier way, a smoother and more consistent way to kind of get circulation going. Obviously, never pay for follows or views. Sticks out like a sore thumb. It's never worked, right? That's to say, the robots will catch you, the people will catch you, you won't recover. It's not worth it. Don't do it, bro. You're better than that. Don't do it, bro. I promise. Don't do it. All right. What do we got? Let me take a look over. Just wanted to take a quick sec to take a peek at the comments. So, I guess I'll start to pack and wrap it just a little bit. Again, the items we kind of covered here, just to recap. Content and getting it flowing. We know that that's valuable. We know to focus around the long form and it will make the short form flow better. People and the fact that they're your biggest marketing asset. As I mentioned, no matter what the heck I do on the internet, it has not yielded a percentage of the results that just having a conversation with an already trusted business associate has. And then furthermore, social engagement. This is what finally, after all the other things, fuels your machine, gets eyes on you, gets awareness for your brand, and eventually this leads to sales. I would say all of these things kind of go hand in hand. Each piece lends to, I kind of want to call it like a beautiful, vicious cycle of business growth, you know? Get out there, touch people, make them aware, spread your, I don't want to call it a disease, but spread yourself. Spread like the plague. Go and do it. You're the best. They're gonna love you. I promise. I want to close it up with a couple of final statements. To all of the no I can'ts, yes you can. To all the guys that got hurt by the world and live with it, I want to say I'm sorry. Me too. You're not alone. Truth is, I have to shout a lot of this crap at myself in the mirror. You know, just because I put on a face doesn't make me any less fallible, any less human, doesn't make it any less easy. You know? But I'm out here to change the world, so that's ready or not. If I can do it, I know you can. So, I guess I'll leave the blade here for now with these final words, right? I have a catchphrase. It sounds dumb to say it out loud. Go get 'em. Go get 'em, guys. Whatever the heck that means to you, right? Make whoever took your kindness for weakness regret that. Make whoever slept on you wake up. Make yourself, your mom, your dad, the good Lord above, the people who back you up, make them proud. I know you can. Go get them. My name's Alex Palmer. I'll see you next time the sun comes up.